I don't know about you guys, but when I heard the sentence, we spend so much time learning about other people's lives than our own, I freaked out. Just a tad. So I deleted TikTok. Wow, groundbreaking, I know. But I just really wanted a break from doom scrolling. I wanted to prioritize my reading and overall just kind of take my life back, as dramatic as that sounds. But you know when you're, I don't know, on your computer doing work and you're waiting for something to load, or you're waiting for your YouTube video to load, or something's buffering, and then you go to pick up your phone instead of just being patient and waiting for something to load. I caught myself doing that one too many times and I thought, that is actually kind of insane. So let's stop doing that. And obviously the main thing is that I want to prioritize reading. Reading is what brings me joy. Reading is what I want to do for fun. I don't want to doom scroll for fun. No one wants to doom scroll for fun. So what did I do? I deleted the app that was causing me issues. So we're gonna spend the week reading as much as we can, and probably a lot more than usual because we're gonna have so much more free time. So hope you enjoy. I have less than 100 pages of my book left, and I just have to start recording and talking to you about this book because I didn't film this because I wasn't expecting to like it so much. I was planning on starting this on Monday and doing just like a full week in my life for this video, but I picked this one up because I wanted to start it. It is so good. I have flown through this. I have wanted to chuck this book in the ocean. I have wanted to scream at every single character. I don't know, it's just because I was so invested that anything that was happening to Katerina, the main character, I felt so intensely myself that sometimes I just had to shut the book and go, I can't do this right now. But oh my gosh. Basically, we follow Katerina on her journey to become an ice dancing Olympian. This book spans well over a decade, beginning from when Katerina was a really young girl, just getting into skating, all the way until she's in her, well, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know how far it's going to go, but right now we're in our late 20s. The way this book starts is Katerina is like sitting down to watch a new documentary that was just released on her life, and she's basically said, this isn't true, here's the true story. And that's what we're getting now, and like in between the chapters you get little snippets of the documentary. So not only do you get Katerina's truth, but you also get to see what the characters around and in her life were thinking at the time, because obviously they're being interviewed in this documentary, and I think that is such a good addition to the story. And the chapters are insanely short. Like this book is just over 400 pages and I'm on chapter 65. So they're super short, super intense chapters, like every single chapter and every single, so not only does the chapter end and you're like, I have to continue, the documentary snippet ends and you have to get... So I love sports romances, I do, but my favorite types of sport romances are when both the characters are athletes. I loved Face Off, which is the first book in the DC Star series, because they're both pro hockey players. I loved From Lukov with Love because they're both pro figure skaters. And I loved Heated Rivalry because they're both pro hockey players. So I think that a sports romance for me at its best is when they're both athletes, because I just love the dynamic that brings, whether it's because they are on different teams, whether that's because they're on the same team, whether that's because they're ice dancing pairs, like, oh, it just makes for such a good story. And this one, just the drama that happens and the toxicity, but also the intensity of not only the sport that they're doing, the chemistry between the two and the situations that they're put in and the things that they have to fight for. Can you tell that I'm getting a 5-star feeling from this book? Because so less than 100 pages left and I want to finish it today. Maybe not in this sitting now, but definitely tonight. Like genuinely, it hasn't made me cry. It's not that type of intense. It's just made me furious at other characters, you know? And I don't know if it's just because it feels like I'm reading about real people that I feel their emotions so deeply. Let's read this book. I do have to go and check. So like every half an hour-ish, I have to go downstairs to the dryer and check on my big IKEA bear because he needed washing and he's in the dryer right now and I'm trying to fluff him back up again, so I do have to go down and check on him every half an hour. But we're gonna try to finish this book today. I'm scared because something major happened a couple chapters ago and we still have 100 pages, and so now I'm just expecting something even bigger to happen. This could go in so many different directions, so let's stop yapping and let's start finishing this book. patches are on, though this one keeps slipping. But I'm gonna go watch some TV with my parents for a little bit. And then I'm on page 401. And now we've got a lot more sport drama. Like, okay, there's been sports drama and like rivalry throughout this entire book, but now we're really focusing on that. And it's very intense. So I'm kind of scared for how it's gonna end though. Wow. What an emotional roller coaster that was. I'm gonna collect my thoughts and give a proper review tomorrow. But for now, I'm gonna go read through all of the Goodreads reviews because I love to do that when I finish a book. This was so good. 5 stars, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. Hi guys. So it is bedtime for me now, and now that I have finished this book, I feel like I need to change pace just because this was intense. Honestly, my review is phenomenal. I don't know if it was the research or own experience with the sport, I'm not sure, was really good. I mean, coming from someone who doesn't really know much about the figure skating world, so maybe if you are from the figure skating world, you might think, Lily, actually this was not a good representation. But I don't necessarily need my books to be a good representation, because obviously this is dramatic and there is rivalry and betrayals that maybe don't happen. Don't know though. Is it making me want to go watch figure skating? Yes. Is it kind of making me want to pick up the sport? Yes. Just for fun? Yes. Have I been Googling ice rinks near me on Google Maps? Yes. But hey, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing coming out of this book. Because when you can make, I mean obviously figure skating is a real thing, but when you can make characters and this fictional world, which obviously is set in our world because it's got all the same competitions and countries and things like that, feel so real, I think you've done a good job. So 5 stars, phenomenal book. Don't like the cover, not gonna lie. This rainbow cover, not a big fan of. The gold cover, however, beautiful. And I need to get my hands on a copy. And honestly, I can't wait till the day I reread this because this is just phenomenal. My anxiety levels were through the roof. So many things happened that I feel like even if I reread this now, I'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah, that happened. It was just so good. The ending, this could have been a 6-star book for me, but it wasn't 6 stars because the ending, the choices that some of the characters made, thought were maybe not the most realistic. Like, I guess it made sense because of the situation that they were in, but I just felt like character-wise, they just didn't fit. If you read this, let me know in the comments your thoughts, but I'd be very happy to discuss the ending of this book with you because now that that one's done, like I said, I need to change pace, and I have some options from my April TBR because this book was also my April TBR, which if you saw my video, you will know which books are on that TBR. But if you don't, I really hope that the camera isn't picking up the TV downstairs. But I have 3 options. We have A Dance of Lies, which I have been wanting to read for, wow, that font is tiny. I have been wanting to read for a very, very long time, and I have the ARC for book 2. I requested it, not thinking I was gonna get it, and then I got it, and then I felt really guilty because I haven't read book 1 yet, but it has been incentive to read book 1 because I have been meaning to read this book for a very long time. But yeah, Dance of Lies. We have the Book of Blood and Roses, which I picked up from the library without knowing anything about this book. I saw it and the cover intrigued me, and then I read the back of the book. This is a vampire and vampire hunter sapphic paranormal fantasy, maybe, set in the Scottish Highlands. Sounds right up my alley. And A Dance of Lies, as far as I know, is about a female main character who is a dancer in a kingdom, in the castle, and something happens. Is this a love triangle? Don't remember, but the cover, gorgeous as well. And then option number 3 is the Poet Empress, which I have heard people raving about for a very long time. It looks deceivingly small, like especially compared to the favorites. It looks deceivingly small, but I don't know if it's gonna feel small. These are the 2 books we'll probably get around to reading at some point this week anyway. This is another debut. I believe The Dance of Lies is also a debut. And honestly, actually I don't think this is a debut. But I think because I have the arc that I've been meaning to get around to reading, I'm gonna go with A Dance of Lies. And I have the audiobook for this one, so I think I'm going to just start immersively reading this tonight and then update you tomorrow on my experience with A Dance of Lies, which has been very, very hyped. Good morning guys, I have crawled back into bed to continue reading this book. So obviously last night we finished The Favourite. Now we're going to continue with this book. Yes, I'm back in bed. It's a Sunday. What else am I going to do? I will either read in the morning now, and also usually I'll read like downstairs on the couch in the mornings with my mum because she's on holiday now, so she doesn't have to be at work bright and early. So then I will either read downstairs with her or watch some YouTube or something. I'm allowing myself to watch YouTube whenever. Like, I love consuming long form content. I love creating long form content. So I'm not going to take that away from me. I don't think, I mean, you know, too much of anything is bad, but I don't think going down a YouTube rabbit hole is as bad as going down a TikTok rabbit hole. But anyways, we're going to finish. No, we're not. Probably not. Well, maybe. We're going to continue with The Dance of Lies. I am 4 chapters in on page 36. I'm loving the writing so far. I kind of figured I would, just because this cover screams, 1, I kind of know what I'm doing. 2, I have beautiful writing, and maybe I should stop judging books by their cover, but that's not gonna happen. But I really do love the writing, and I think the message of this book is gonna be so powerful. I know it's been out for a little bit, but if you happen to have not heard of this book, the author has a lot of chronic illness. She talks about, you know, wanting to show that you can still be strong without having to be the one, you know, wielding a sword and fighting, and you can still win in life and conquer things that you didn't, you know, that challenge you, and not having to be, you know how in fantasy books it's always wielding swords or having magical powers that, you know, shoot fire out your hands or whatever it may be. You can still win a fight without those, and I think that's a really strong message. So really enjoying this so far. We are following, I don't know how much I talked about this book yesterday, but we are following a girl who, or a woman who used to be a dancer, a highly regarded dancer for a king, and then something happens and she ends up in the dungeons for a very long time, and due to the fact that she was in prison for so long, her body is suffering the consequences of that. So her muscles are gone. I think she has issues with her heart. And now the king is like, you're dancing again. We are following her having to basically go into a sort of rehab. They're not calling it that because this is set in a time where it's probably not a thing. But, you know, she's going through this rehab program. I really need to take my allergy tablets. I look like I need to take my allergy tablets. I don't remember where I was going with that sentence now. So we're just gonna read, because I've been yapping for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm also listening to the audiobook and I think it's really good. Let's just read because I'm just postponing reading time right now. So hello. I had to work out the microphone because it is incredibly windy outside right now, and hopefully this helps with that at least a little bit. But I have been reading all morning and we are now on part 2 of this book. I don't know how many parts there are, potentially 3. This book is very, very heavy on the like court politics side, which I love. If I'm in the mood for it, I really, really love that in a fantasy book. So it's all about the kingdoms and all of the lords and stuff. And how much is said on the back so that I don't spoil anything? Okay, so I can talk about this. So Vasily, the main character, is basically used by a king who she used to think she was close to until something happened until something happened, and then therefore she ended up being imprisoned. And now she is being used by him to do his dirty work, basically. And period, at least for now, during what's called the Gathering. And basically on an island, all of the kingdoms come together and watch performances over a certain number of days. I don't remember how many days it's supposed to last. And it's supposed to just show off cultures and show, unity and all that fun stuff. And Vasily, as an ex-dancer, is brought back into the dancing realm. Clearly I have a thing for dancing because I've just finished The Favourites. I read From Look Up With Love last month, and now we're reading another dancing-esque book. I really like our main girl so far. Usually sometimes, that doesn't make sense. Sometimes protagonists or female main characters can be a bit annoying, but I don't think she's annoying for now. I know I shouldn't be trying to figure out who the love interest is supposed to be. Is it a romantasy? Is that what it's? I don't know if it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be marketed as a romantasy. But anyways, I'm trying to think of who the love interest could be because I have seen fan art when I was stalking the author's Instagram, but it didn't really give anything away. I didn't really figure out who it was. Maybe because I didn't pay enough attention to the descriptions of people, which I maybe should have. For me, that's a good thing because at least I didn't get spoiled who the love interest is supposed to be, because I don't think it's going to be who you think it is type of book. And considering there's a second book, I don't know if it's going to be a duology or anything longer than that, but the duology comes out in August, I believe, the second book. Flying through this, we are maybe 30% through. Could potentially finish this today because I am honestly just going to plan on reading this today. We will see. I wish, I would kill for a hardback of this book. It is stunning. I just look at it in awe. The details that I'm sure I don't even know yet, but just the flowers and the glass, and it makes sense for the book, and I'm just picturing such a beautiful castle in my head. I love that. I love it so much. Looking forward to continuing this book, and maybe it'll be a new favorite. We will see. So anyways, I'm going to continue reading. I was going to take a break, but I'm like, Lily, if you're in the mood to read, just read. You don't need to take a break. So we're not going to take a break. We're just going to continue. Good evening. It is much later now, and I have gotten a really big chunk into this book now. I think I have less than 100 pages left. My plan, whilst I was reading this, I was like, wow, I can actually finish this today. I don't think I can, just because it's late. My mum and I started watching Imperfect Women, is that what it's called? It's an Apple TV show. It's late, so I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this book tonight, but I think I'm just going to read until I fall asleep, and then I will update you tomorrow. We'll probably finish this in the morning because I could push myself to finish this book tonight, but I don't want to push myself. I have no reason to push myself, so I'm just gonna read until I fall asleep. So I will see you tomorrow, and then we'll finish this and then probably just pick up the second one because I can. Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. Can you sense a theme? I read 2 more chapters last night before passing out, and I think we have 2 or 3 chapters left. So we're going to throw our headphones on and finish this book, because why not? They were 2 pretty intense chapters, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm intrigued to see how this is gonna end. The court politics really, I love, when I'm in the mood, I think I've said this before, when I'm in the mood for it, I'm really in the mood for court politics, and this book does it well, does do it well. So if you're not the biggest fan of court politics all around, maybe not the best book for you, but the mixture of the court politics, the writing style, I need to sneeze. What was I saying? Oh, the descriptions, just so pretty. And I appreciate the world building. It's very typical fantasy world. No magic yet though, but there are prophecies. There are prophecies in this world. Yeah, anyways, I'm itching to finish this, so let's just finish this now, shall we? I don't even know what to say. The last 20% of this book was so much more intense than I thought it was going to be. I'm so intrigued and I am so happy that I can go straight into book 2 because the ending. And book 2 comes out in August. Imagine if I had to wait until August now. So I'm so lucky right now. It was so vivid and the plot was intriguing and the characters, oh, I loved it. I really did. I need to read book 2 now. I really, really hope that book 2 is just as good. And the dancing, just, oh, the little glimpses of romance that we had. And the stakes were pretty high. Okay, now I need to start book 2 because what am I doing? I need to start book 2 now. I've hit part 2. I am so here for the second book. Obviously, there's not that much that I can say because 1, it's book 2 of a series. Well, actually, it's a duology. And 2, it's an arc. And obviously, you're not supposed to share anything that's in an arc, which I feel like people have kind of forgotten. Like, I swear I was looking at some of the reviews and it was just quote after quote after quote after quote of the arc, which I don't think you're supposed to do until it's been released. Then you can, like, because obviously it's a non-published version yet, so things are subject to change. But anyways, that's a whole different conversation. I flew through this part. I don't know why, but I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna like drag on a little bit just because sometimes the second book kind of tends to do that, but I'm really enjoying it. I mean, the way that it ended, I'm going to talk a little bit about A Dance of Lies again. Vasily, the FMC, she has very few people that she cares about in her life just because of the things that happen in her life, but the ones that she cares about, she deeply, deeply cares about, and I love that aspect about her. As the story grows, she starts to care about a few more people who help her and make her feel even stronger than she is, and just that's a really beautiful aspect of the book. We're getting that in this one as well. It's also really nice to see in this book that we're not just in the castle anymore. So in book 1, it's mainly set on the island, in the castle, on the grounds where the gathering is held, whereas in book 2, we expand out of that, and I really like that aspect. I think it makes the world feel a lot bigger. We're also entering something new, which I'm not going to get into too much detail about because obviously I can't. A lot of this is probably just going to be my reactions to things. We also get additional perspectives, which I think is going to be really good. I think we definitely need it at this beginning point. I don't know if it's going to end up throughout the rest of the book, or maybe just like every part we're going to have a snippet of a certain character's perspective. I think that will be really fun. And again, just make the world feel bigger because as beautifully written as book 1 was, it was very much set in just one area, whereas now we're expanding on that. So, and just the continuation of the espionage and the court politics and all of that is just so fun. I love it so much. Oh, and when I opened the book, there was a whole section that was technically an author's note about a recap for book 1. I don't know if that's going to be in the final version or not, but I really appreciated that. Obviously for me, it doesn't really help because I've literally just read book 1, but for people who read this in August when the actual book comes out, I feel that'll be really helpful, and more people should do that because if, you know, you spend time away from a book, you do tend to forget things. And yes, sometimes when you're reading, things can come back, but I think it's really, really handy, and it was a page also, you know? So I really appreciated that. Anyways, we have to continue. We really do. Don't get me wrong, I love reading on my iPad, on my Kindle, but I do miss staring at a really pretty cover, and the cover for To Dance with Death is just as gorgeous, and I just want, I need them to display on my shelves. So I can't wait for this book to come out. Really quick, I'm just checking in because I am flying through this book. I'm now well and truly into part 3. Honestly, a lot of my thoughts I can't say because they would be spoilers, but I'm telling you, the glimpses of moments that we have between these two characters, killing me, absolutely killing me. and I just need to get this done. Don't think it's gonna happen tonight because I am 60% through, but we'll definitely finish this up by tomorrow. And I'm scared. I'm scared the house is going to end. Jump scare. I look presentable. Well, my hair's still drying, so ignore that, but we're leaving the house today. Woo! My mum and I are going into town to go wedding dress shopping. No, not wedding dress shopping for a wedding. Not getting married anytime soon. May or may not get anything. The wedding's not until summer, so we're not in a rush or anything. Just probably try some things on. Why is it drying so weirdly? When in town, might as well go to the library, to the bookshop, get a little drink, pop into TK Maxx as one does, and yeah, that's the plan. Also, I have removed my plaster from my hand, so if the incision scar you're not okay with seeing, then I apologize if it's in the way, but it is time for me to take it off now. So just a little warning that I did do that, in case you're like me and it makes you feel slightly uncomfortable. I didn't read too much of To Dance with Death last night because I fell asleep. You know when you're constantly just waiting for the book, like you're turning the page and you're like, okay, like things are happening, like, but then also the very small amount of really sweet times that we have with the characters, that's what's keeping me going. Not that it has to, not that like nothing's going on. It's really beautiful to see. I wish I could talk more about it, but I can't. Like, at least if it was out, I could say, okay, spoiler warning, but because it's not even out yet, I don't think it would be right of me to talk about it. So anyways, I do need to get going, so we will chat more about the book later, but I'm honestly getting 5-star feelings, I'm not gonna lie. And it really helps to just be able to binge my books. I've stopped just like reading a series through and I'll just pick up books in between. I've missed this feeling, so really happy about that. But anyways, I need to finish getting ready to leave. I actually probably won't chat to you because I'll get too nervous to chat in front of the camera. So I will probably play like some montage or something, but I will see you later when we continue reading. Hi, back. So, two unexpected things happened. One, didn't intend to find a dress, but found a dress. We went into like a bunch, so the first shop that I went into, found that dress and I really liked it. Like I fell in love with it once it was on. And then we were like, no, this is the first shop we're in, we're gonna have another look around. We went to all the other stores that are in the area and none of them really had that same look of like whimsy chic English summer wedding style. So I was like, okay, I really like that one. And I mean, the wedding itself is months away, but I was like, I really like that. That's kind of what I wanted. Anyway, so we got the dress and then my mum and I went and got piercings because why not? She got her third in and then I got my thirds done. And then I also got I think it's called a flat. I'm not sure, but I got it here. I'll insert the photo for reference that I saw on Pinterest that I really want because it's a dragonfly in the piercing and I really want that too. So that's the goal, but I have to wait a couple weeks. And I was like, okay, I was like, do I get the cartilage one or do I get the thirds? And I was like, if I'm gonna have to suffer for 6 to 8 weeks anyway, healing, might as well get as many as I can get now and just take care of it. So that's the goal. That's why the hair is up in an ugly bun, to be out of the way. And yeah, we're back now. So we were out a lot later than anticipated. It's like honestly nearly dinner time. Oh, went to the library, dropped off a couple books that were due and that I finished. So I dropped off the favorites, which I started at the beginning of this video, and didn't have any that I really fancied picking up, so I didn't pick anything up that was new, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now we're going to continue To Dance with Death, which I'm so excited about because I'm just like anticipating the ending. Going to try to get to around 75% before dinner and then we'll see if I have the energy to continue it tonight. I finished it. Things would get better, then they go worse, then they get better, then they go. The emotional turmoil this book put me through was not okay. I had tears in my eyes by the end of this. I always end up getting really teary-eyed when characters who helped someone get through something or gave them like words of support end up meeting again, and then it's like, you're the reason why I got through this. That always makes me sob. I love that book. I really did. I think that was the perfect ending to this duology. It's such a beautiful world. Like, the kingdom that we're in is a very artsy kingdom, and I love that so much. Like, not only in the first book do we have a lot of the dancing aspect of art, but we have so much more. There's glasswork, we explore the world, and it's just so beautiful, and I just want to like, obviously I can visualize it in my head, but I want to see it. I'm waiting for all the fan art to come out because I know it's gonna be good. So that was To Dance with Death. That was beautifully written, actually beautifully written. Thank you so much to the publishers and to the author for giving me the opportunity to read that book. And I love being able to read book 1 and 2 right, like, back to back. That was perfection. I think people are going to like the way this book goes. So, and now it's time to pick the next book. I think we're gonna go with a library book next because I have these two now. So we have The Book of Blood and Roses and The Poet Empress. I think I'm going to save The Poet Empress. I'm gonna attempt to read this one. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know if I'm 100% in the mood for... I'm sorry if you can hear my laptop running. I've got a video exporting, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be completely in the mood for like a darker gothic book, but we're just gonna have to try it and see. What I know about this book, there's vampires, it's sapphic, set in a university with vampire hunters, set in the Scottish Highlands. Let's start this one. I look and feel rough. I had not a very pleasant evening last night. My eyes, I looked worse than high last night. It was rough. It was so bloodshot and so itchy. I'm so sick of my allergies. I was also sick when I went to Austria a couple weeks back. Not sick, like just a really bad allergy attack. I don't like this. It's so annoying, and I just sleep really poorly. But anyways, positivity. The Book of Blood and Roses. I got a solid 55 pages in, which isn't too bad. Yesterday, I didn't end up reading last night because I just mentally could not do it. But I'm enjoying it so far. I like the setup. The writing is really good. I really like it. We are following Rebecca, who is a vampire hunter whose parents died due to vampires, and then the people who were like having to sort out the case, because obviously it was a vampire murder and not a regular murder, run this vampire assassination, like a hitman company on vampires, because technically vampires aren't supposed to feed on humans. I think there's like a law that they shouldn't be feeding on humans, but sometimes they do. And that is my cat wanting to come inside. 1 second. Anyways, so this vampire hunting association thing is called Callisto, I believe, and now our main character is a part of that, hoping to find more information on who killed her parents, because apparently they know, and so they're kind of almost holding that over her to work. I don't think it's like that manipulative, but they kind of like, we're not going to tell you until you're ready to hear, which I have some ideas in mind on who it's going to end up being, or like how it's going to all be connected. She then gets enlisted. I hope you can hear me over her purring, because her purring is obnoxious, but she then gets enlisted to, or like her next job is to go almost infiltrate a university which is now allowing humans into its campus, because they want to start integrating vampires and humans into society together. And there's going to be like a romance between Rebecca and then one of the vampires who have met, and I think the dynamic's going to be pretty fun. So yeah, 55 pages in and excited to keep going. I love the cover of this book, like it's a gorgeous book. While I did that, I was listening to Never Lie by Freida McFadden, which I've been listening to on and off for like a while now, I'm not gonna lie, because it's one that I'm solely listening to on audio, like I don't have the book for it. And I'm enjoying it a lot more than The Housemaid. I mean, I still have like half an hour left, well, an hour left. I thought that I was going to fall, like I think I kind of fell for what the author intended you to fall for, but I'm not sure, so I'm gonna keep reading that while I do my nails. I feel like my nails. But before I even tidied my room, I got to page 160 of this book. I'm not gonna lie, there was a sentence at some point that mentioned something happening after World War II. So then I was like, oh, okay, this is set in, you know, a couple decades ago. And then they started whipping out phones and I was like, wait, I clearly misunderstood that because for a very long time I was picturing, you know, a couple decades ago. But no, I think this is supposed to be modern because like this chapter literally has text bubbled in it. So that was a bit jarring and completely my fault for misunderstanding that. But anyways, I'm really enjoying it so far. It was very much setting up what the back of the book talks about between the relationship between Alice and Rebecca, which I was expecting to happen because obviously it's on the blurb of the book. But now it's not only that, I need to sneeze again. This video should be titled Lily Defeats Her Allergies because what is going on this week? Is my nose really red? Oh, whatever. So the relationship between Alice and Rebecca has developed and I'm liking it a lot more because obviously you kind of know where it's going to go, especially since it's written on the back, but it's still enjoyable. It still really is enjoyable. And there's just like small scenes where you're like, oh. We're also now getting a lot more plot. So the back of the book doesn't really go into the plot that actually happens at this university. And I'm really enjoying it. It's very much like vampire politics in a way. You know how you have like court politics? It's kind of like vampire politics. And I also really like it because, I mean, I've only read a handful of vampire books. The last one that I read was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Depending on your culture, like your background, vampires are cursed in different ways. So like there's some vampires who have the typical like garlic, like can't eat garlic, you know, you kill them with a stake, steel burns them, things like that. But then in other cultures, like they can't touch, I think one of them was like, you can't touch a black dog. So depending on your background and your culture and how they viewed vampires, like for us, like I guess in our world, different backgrounds on vampires and where they came from actually affects the cat. Like, am I explaining this right? Actually, that's how, like not all vampires are the same. Wow, that took a whole 5 sentences to get to. Anyways, really enjoying the plot and I'm really enjoying the world building so far. Reading it quite quickly. I mean, the font's not too small, so that's always fun. Enjoying it, enjoying the character now, definitely enjoying the plot. So, looking forward to finishing this, but we're gonna do our nails and try to finish Never Lie on audio, which I will talk more about probably once I've finished it. Hi guys, so I am about to leave to go into town and watch, finally, Project Hail Mary, and I cannot be more excited. I read the book last month and I've been dying to go see it, so finally I'm gonna do that now, then maybe get drinks afterwards. And then I finished Never Lie yesterday. I listened to that one on audio and I think it was so much better than The Housemaid, and I feel like lots of people who didn't really enjoy The Housemaid say the same. And I thought it was a decent thriller. I did in fact fall for the red herring, I'm not gonna lie. But during it I was like, am I supposed to? I don't know. So then I kind of just like trusted no one and just kind of let the story go. But I thought it was good. The person who like actually ended up doing the thing was a good twist. So I liked it, I enjoyed it. And the audio narration for it was also done really well, so. And then I also finally finished The Book of Blood and Roses, which was such a good book. Like at the beginning, it was very much setting up, and then we were introduced to the characters, and then based off the back of the book, we kind of know who she's going to be ending up with. But so many things happen that it doesn't feel like a spoiler in a way. And then the plot just like kept giving. Like every chapter I was intrigued. I flew through that book, and I highly recommend it. I think it was a very well written book. I think the vampires and the different cultures and stuff, I'm sweating in the sun right now, I'm not gonna lie. I think the characters were done really, really well. The plot was compelling, and like I said, it just kept building, and I'm really looking forward to the second book in the series. So I think I'm gonna have to wait a while though, because this one only just came out last month, I think. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I was rooting for the characters, and the stakes were quite high. Get it? Because it's a vampire. Really good book. I really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for a fun sapphic romance, which happens to have vampires and happens to be set in the Highlands. Oh, and I started the audiobook, I was gonna say Happy Place. No, no, of Just Friends. I might download it on my Kindle, I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I like it enough to do that, but I'm about 25% in. It's really a short audiobook. Like, I'm listening to it on 2x speed and it's only 5 hours, so it's really quick. And I didn't realize that the phrases that people were having issues with online, so like the conglomerate of pedestrians and the feeling personified in my stomach sentences, were literally in the first chapter. I thought these were like across the book. No, they're in the first chapter, so I was giggling to that. But I don't know, I have enjoyed Hayley's videos for a very long time. I've been there, I've been a viewer of hers for years now. So I was really happy for her that she like got this book deal, because I believe she really cares. I really think that she truly cares about making a good book. You know, the authors that she looks up to and takes inspiration from, I also really enjoy, and I think that she can definitely get there. Again, I'm only 25% through. So I don't think she did this as a cash grab. I don't think you can, you know, if you're gonna do a cash grab, why are you writing a book, sort of thing. I truly do not believe that. But I kind of feel like the publishers probably like went with it, and like they were looking at it as a cash grab, and therefore it's not the best written book. It feels very off balance. The writing style, I don't think she has a style that isn't very well developed yet, in my opinion. I like the idea of the book. Do I think it's a self-insert? Yes. But, you know, more to her because she got a publishing deal. And I think that with the feedback that she would have gotten, the next books that she writes are going to be just improvements. So, you know, I'm happy for her. I mean, I'm only 25% in. I do think that the grief bit, I wasn't expecting us to go so deep into the grief bit. Like, I mean, I'm, again, 25% through, but it's strong. So yeah, those are my opinions so far. I don't think I'm going to finish that by the time this video ends. But anyways, I'm going to go into town. This is the outfit. Can I jump and show you? Okay, that didn't work. I need to head into town now and watch the movie. I'm so excited. Hello, me from the intro again, because I am in fact filming these on the same day. So I think the last clip that you saw was me finishing the audiobook of Just Friends in the bath, I believe. So yeah, I finished that in the bath and then also like getting ready for my evening. I have some thoughts. I genuinely think that Hayley put her everything into this. I mean, I watched her YouTube video when she released it. I don't think you can put so much effort into a book and not care about what you're doing, and I think her effort truly shows. But I think your first book, you should never publish your first book. I feel like that's also a thing, and I feel like, I mean, honestly, you must feel so proud to have been able to publish a book that was your first book, and I can't even imagine the feeling of being on the New York Times bestseller list and all of the achievements that she's got from them, let alone finishing a first draft, getting an editor, getting agents, all that stuff. It must have felt so cool, and I don't want to take any of that away from her because it does take effort. You still have to write the book. Do I think that the publishers saw this as a cash grab? Yes, because obviously it was going to sell. She has a fan base that was going to pick up the book, whether for the reasons of wanting to really love it or whether for the reasons of wanting to hate it and find every single flaw in the book just because she is someone of influence. All that aside, I think with the resources that she had, the editors that she would have had through the publishing, it could have been a better book, which is why I don't think it should have been published, just because I really don't think you should be publishing the first ever book that you write. Now, maybe Hayley has written books before and just never talked about them. I don't know that, I don't know her. Now, before I ramble too much specifically about the book, I loved the setting. I loved the vibes that we had. It was so much fun being in this, you know, quaint Californian coastal town. That was really fun. Characters, I felt lacked a little bit of depth just because they felt very one-dimensional. The writing itself, I didn't hate. Like, it wasn't horrible, I've read worse, but it felt unbalanced. So like the writing felt unbalanced, the characters felt a little bit unbalanced. The setting was great, I loved the setting. So it was just, like, my overall thought for the book is just unbalanced. Do I see potential though? Yes. I mean, like I could so see the influence of Emily Henry and a couple of other authors that she really likes to talk about a lot. So I definitely think that future books are going to be really good books. I did like the conversation around grief. So the character does lose someone in the story, and obviously she's dealing with grief, and not only is she dealing with grief, but she's dealing with it in her own way. And I think that's an important conversation to have, is how different people can grieve in different ways. Also, our other character grieved losing the life that he thought he was going to have, thought that, you know, he was setting up for himself, and he lost it and had to deal with that. I wish we got a little bit more of that. Maybe if it had been a dual POV, we would have gotten more of that, but it wasn't. So maybe like a few conversations between the characters, like a few more would have been good. The premise was a simple premise. I love a friends to lovers. Second chance can work. I think it definitely worked given the circumstances of this book, so I had no issues with that. I had no issues of, you know, how they rekindled. I thought that was nice. I like also childhood friends to lovers. Love that. So there were a lot of good aspects of this book that I really enjoyed. But yeah, my main issue was just it felt a little bit unbalanced. But obviously that comes with writing experience, and Hayley wanted to publish it, and all the more to her for doing that and taking that leap, because she must have known that she, you know, due to her influence, she was going to get, you know, negative feedback. And I hope that, you know, she doesn't see it and she only sees the constructive criticism of people trying to help her and her publishers helping her. And I think that she really has the potential of making a good romance book. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts for the minute. I don't remember if there was any other books that I was supposed to talk about. Did I talk about Neverlie? Yes, I do think I talked about Neverlie before I went out for the movie the other day. So anyways, that was my week of reading without the distraction of TikTok. So let's touch on that for a second. I have not felt the itch to re-download the app. The only reason why I would re-download the app is to create the content. But knowing me, if I were to re-download the app just to like make content, I would, you know, use it to scroll. But I do think I read a lot of books. I mean, how many books did I read in this reading vlog? The Favorites, the 2 dance books, Neverlie, and Just Friends. 5 books in just over a week is kind of insane. So it definitely worked. The only thing is, and I don't know how to fix this now, is I still have Instagram because I like Instagram. I like being able to pick and choose who I want to see, whereas on TikTok, you know, unless you're on the following page, you're seeing everything. I like keeping up with people's stories. I like posting on there now. I have left Instagram open, but I have found myself scrolling on Reels, and it's not good. It's not good. I have, like, closer to the end of this week, the beginning, I was so good. I hardly even touched it. And then I found myself scrolling on Reels. I wish that there was a way to disable Reels on Instagram. Without that, I wouldn't need to be on that app very much. So I have set a screen time on the app now. I actually did that today. I think I set like 35 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. And I realized it was an issue because after I set that and then I went to my app, it was already locked for today. It's like 11 a.m. So that's an issue, which I didn't really foresee. That's a word, right? Anyways, that's gonna have to be, I think, a lot of self-restraint work, which is okay. I'm okay to have to work on that. That'll be fine. We'll get through it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this maybe motivated you to get back into prioritizing reading and maybe stepping away from maybe one app. I will see you in the next vlog.